Hello, Ragdoll.
Hello?
Hello, we're just waiting for some more people to join us, and Jan as well. He'll be here in a second.
Okay. I'm like, of course, I'm like, hey, I'll try the link, Zoom link. I just want to also note, why does the Zoom link that is in the JFH chat say it's got malicious stuff attached to it? The one through Instagram?
Oh, really?
I warned you.
Thank you for pointing that out. We'll take a look. I'm not sure if that's just on your end, if that's for everybody.
Oh, you know what it might be. What's going on? Hey, Ragdoll and Autumn. I think what's going on is that because I shared it publicly, anytime you share the Zoom links, like on Twitter, for example, you get a warning. And because people, and this has happened to us before, people will like crash your Zoom, and like unwanted folks will crash people's Zooms. But that being said, since we're open to the community, that's kind of like just par for the course.
Yeah, it's a little bit welcomed.
Yeah, please crash.
Just a minor warning while I'm not on mute. I'm currently still watching SmackDown, so that's probably the audio you're hearing in the background.
Oh, well, it's, first of all, thank you for joining. And we got Tai Chi Wonder, we got AK Wonder. So Tai Chi Wonder and I were just on the Instagram chat. Hopefully, Brian Frumberg and a few more folks come in. We were just on Instagram with Brian Frumberg and Frank Polanco too, our choreographer. And I'm trying to see if I'm here in LA, in Chinatown. Oh, you guys can't even see me, can you? Hold on. Oh, there we go. Over here, seeing if I got this. All right, I think I got it. I think it's done. I think I have my parking. Oh, that's Brian. He's here. Welcome, everybody. So guys, as people trickle in, I parked in Chinatown to go to that little bakery to get some. So I'm gonna while I'm on this, I'm gonna be heading to another shop. But so we have a big announcement or a big development that based on this conversation as a community will become more official. And we've been working on this for a while, but essentially having our own JFH action figures for ourselves, for our heroes, the folks that we create, being able to have your own action figure, to be able to have other people buy your action figure from justiceforhire.app. And it's a huge deal. And this is to be fully transparent, again, this is not it's not a done deal yet, but we've been talking to a company called Doppel, which is Jim Henson's son's, Ben Henson's company. And so if you don't like the Muppets, etc. And so I'm interested in in how everybody would like to. First of all, do you want an action figure yourself? I want an action figure myself. I wanted an action figure myself for the longest time since I was a little kid.
Me too,
so
bro.
I'm wondering, does anybody else want an action figure of themselves? And,
Yes.
Oh, was that a plain yes from Ragdoll? I honestly want it. Pretty much everybody on this call I would have on my shelf. So that's how I feel about it. But and I think one of the themes here is if we are to move forward with this partnership, there's going to be two events. One event is going to be in July in New York at Doppel's store, and the other event is going to be in August in Los Angeles. And we're figuring out all the details now. AK Wonder's putting together a presentation for this out of character, Autumn, and so it's like what that means on our side is that we need to really show up as a community there. So it'll be an in-person. So all the New York heroes, Frank, Brian, oh my Liger Dragon, and Tai Chi Wonder. Like if you're in New York, and actually we'll likely be in New York for this event. More than like I pretty much 100% will be in New York for this event. So like we really need to show up in store and get ourselves scanned, because they'll essentially scan our whole bodies and then make us action figures. And so, but it's a huge deal, because especially as we're, you know, this is kind of like unheard of for like a non-Hollywood funded project to be able to have this kind of not just this kind of community and this kind of like dynamic merchandising. So like, you know, Frank, you know, you got to come down with some collie sticks. Taichi Wonder, you got to come in full gear. So Creator, who's on here right now, please come in full gear. Ragdoll, I see your hand up. I'm gonna mute myself too as I walk by this bus in Chinatown, getting some black sesame.
Problem.
Okay, I'm back. Frank, were you saying something? I see your face moving, but I don't hear much. So I'm gonna mute myself again. If you're...
No, not at all. Sounds great though, man. Sounds amazing. When in July? Do you know?
It would likely be Friday, July 8th or Saturday, July 9th in Manhattan at their store, which I believe, again, all this stuff, it's not finalized. I can't say that enough. It's really dependent on what we want to do as a community and how we can show up. So we want to pack the store with 100 heroes, like 100 JFH characters in New York at the store, getting scanned, and I think the Black Sesame store is closed. So that's it's gonna be July 8th or July 9th, more than likely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep, I missed it. As you guys can see, in wonderful Chinatown, Los Angeles, closes at 5 o'clock for some reason. It closes at 5 o'clock. Brian, are you gonna come down and get your get an action figure yourself and maybe your whole family? Because they do group figures as well.
I'll be wherever you need me, brother.
Oh, dude, I mean that would be a big deal if we had a Brian action figure. Like
desperately interested in having that. Yes.
That's hilarious.
We're trying to decide with the kids right now whether we're gonna watch Hook, Never-Ending Story, or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I feel like we got some really solid choices going on right now.
So I just finished a very long conversation about Dante Bosco and Hook. Because,
that's right. You met him. I remember seeing the post about him. So cool. Rufio.
He's fantastic. I want to see way more Dante Bosco in things, like in general. Avatar. It's great. Check out the Tai Chi video he and I did on YouTube. He's a really phenomenal guy. Okay, so one of the things I'm interested in is that if everyone's interested in having their own action figure, how do we get ourselves action figure ready? So like there's gonna be specific dates for this scanning, and this is like the first of many opportunities that we're gonna have to do this. Walking by a loud sound again. But I'm interested, especially from Tai Chi. Oh my God, Z, aka Guru, welcome. I can only see so many people on here at once. I see his hand up. So before I continue, please, Guru, go for it. Good, welcome.
Hey. Good, glad to be here. Sorry, yeah, no. Just popping in, hearing the question you just asked of like, how will we get ourselves, like action figure ready? I mean, I think if we go through making sure we have our individual heroes costumes, and then and having a session where we can come together as a community and be like show us your hero pose, like your specific hero's pose, being able to see taking the videos that those have those heroes have made and pulling the pose out from there, or finding if they want to redo it or they want to put something different in, and they can create a video doing something like that. just kind of like having a couple of these things in place will give us a chance to be action figure ready, as you put it.
I think that's beautifully said. And would you since you're a West Coast hero, and I got to give David, aka Creator, a shout out because he's created badges for JFH Heroes nationwide, East Coast, West Coast. I got to go through the badges. You guys got to see these things. We haven't put them out yet. I just saw them this week, but they're phenomenal. And I want to wear one, honestly. But Guru, would you be able to, as a West Coast hero, come down to LA mid-August for a JFH Hero meetup event where you would get scanned for your own action figure?
Abso-positively.
That's a phenomenal response. So I think it's super important to note, oh, there we go, going to Tingbo, ginseng, and herb to get some black sesame, which is great for hair and skin. So I am a plain clothes hero. Like sometimes you'll see me just in this JFH t-shirt. So I don't really have a costume or an outfit. But for those of you who do, yeah, definitely get that ready. Hold on, I'm gonna mute please go for it, Guru, while I mute for this.
Absolutely. No, I did have a question for that. Like for being a plain clothes hero, would you not say you had a specific color combination that you would wear, you know, when being in each scene? Have you come across, you know, that kind of like pattern in your videos and whatnot, or?
So that's a question that I love that question. It's the kind of, I do not have the level of consistency that I want from myself as a character creator. And but in terms of historically the videos that I've shot, because I shoot them whenever I might be walking around, I might be doing something, I might be wearing anything in particular. That being said, wearing white and off-white, which I just happen to be wearing today, is something that I would like, ideally, for my character to have more in my color scheme. So I think that's a great note for those who are plain clothes heroes. Do you have a color that represents? Is that what you're getting at? A color that represents?
Absolutely, because if you look to any sort of main character in a show, any sort of, you know, like hero, they have a particular set of, you know, clothing, you know, that they wear. You know, they have that white shirt, tan pants combo. They'll have the I'm thinking more of Danny Phantom. He had a white shirt with a, you know, red stripe. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. You know, or you know, and you know, blue pants. You know, like you have all these characters that have very specific color schemes that go along with them. So if you have like something that you particularly see your quote main character in, then yeah, picking a specific color would do it. Color combination for you.
So I think that there's it might be something. I'm interested in your thoughts on this. It might be something to do leading up to these events, to have some sort of like development sessions available for folks who want to come to the event and want to be as ready as possible. And I think that I think that the Doppel technology allows you to actually change some of your gear after you get scanned. And kind of mix and match stuff. But I think that I want my JFH character to look like me and my style choices as much as possible. So, but I think that Guru, I think you're offering such specific, valuable guidance that.
Oh, absolutely! I would love to be a part of that too. You know, like you know, if we need to have development calls of character. If excuse me, pardon me, heroes want to have like a development call with me, or at us, or we have like a big one together before that, a preparedness, like you said, a preparedness call. for all heroes planning to be in attendance for that. Like, I think it'd be really good so that we know what each hero has, and if anybody has like a question or they're like, hey, this is what I have, this is what I would like to use, and we could be like, that looks great, why don't we add this, or let's subtract this and replace it with this, and like, and just to like add some flair and like give you more of a feel. Does that feel comfortable? Do you not want to do it that way? Okay, we can go back to the other way. And like, if you feel like that's more you, find out whatever it is, basically.
Yeah, that would be massively helpful. And you know, I think one of the interesting things to think about too is that, you know, for someone like Frank, I don't think I did proper introductions jumping on here, because we have a really unique set of folks on this hero meetup today, because we have Frank Polanco, which is our you know, world-class martial artist, and our first choreographer of Justice for Hire, our very first choreographer of this wonderful cinematic universe, and Frank's on the U.S. team for Kali stick fighting, and he's just brilliant. So you know, when I think about someone like Frank, who we're really going to see more of this year and later on this year in the series, since I'm doing the editing of all the stuff that we put together over the last several years. But I would love to see, frankly, your outfits. Like, what would be, I think, an interesting perspective is like, what would be your level up outfit? You know, if people saw you or saw me a few years ago, like what would my character be wearing now? And that's something that I think about when getting the latest action figure, like thinking about getting myself scanned. And like, what would I ideally, if I saw an action figure of myself on the shelf, like what would I wear? What do I think about, etc. So, and I have ideas, but you know, Frank, I think it's really up to the individual.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure out their own. But I tell you, for you in our scene and the surrounding scene, I mean, I definitely see you in like the white, you know, shining armor, the deal, you know, that type of thing. And then conversely, me just, you know, but we'll have to figure that out. I don't know. You know, that should be cool. Looking forward to it.
So Liger, would you, Mr. French, aka Wonder said her trench coat game is strong. Liger, would you come down on let's say the weekend of July 8th or 9th to get scanned for your own action figure, your own Liger Dragon action figure? Would you come in the full gear, the yin yangs?
Oh yeah, I'd definitely be up for that, because that'd be a cool event. I'd definitely be up for it. Yes, definitely.
Amazing. If anyone has not seen Liger Dragon's green trench coat, yin yangs painted on his scalp, and katanas, it's a sight to behold. And so yes, another action figure. I'm wondering if I mean, Liger, you have so many characters as well, so this might be an opportunity for, and this is kind of part of the value of what we're doing with ReelwUrld as an overall ecosystem. And for those who don't know, ReelwUrld's our startup film technology studio producing JFH. Like, the concept is creating an ecosystem where anybody can build their stories and characters out, treated with the same reverence as a Hollywood film or television show, etc. So it's like someone like Liger Dragon, you have so many comic book characters that you've created, and if I remember correctly, you I think not only do you cosplay as some of these characters, but you also have other people who might be donning those outfits that you've created, and it might be an opportunity for you to bring some of those other characters to life as well, and just bring them all down and get them scanned in. So
yeah, definitely. I'm up to a total of 76 characters now.
That's amazing, man. Everyone should check out Liger Dragon art, because he actually produces his own comics, and they're like pretty top quality stuff. And so highly recommend it. So okay. So this is Ragdoll. I still see your hand up. I'm not sure if you had something you want to add.
We kind of relate at Mr. Academy because if we were close enough to do the scam, we have a few different agents who haven't debuted yet, so there'll be many characters to choose from.
Well, Ragdoll, I mean, like, if that would be really interesting. I'm not sure if you'd be able to make it up to New York for July if we did that event on the weekend of July 8th. But if you came with the Mystery Academy, that would be pretty spectacular. Or obviously, you know, if you make the LA one, that's great too. But you know, and like I said, I'll have more information on this as we go. I'm over here traveling the streets of Chinatown, Los Angeles right now in search of Black Sesame as we talk. But yeah, this is going to be a developing conversation. This is something that we started talking about last September, if folks remember, and it took this long for us to, you know, sometimes these partnerships take a while, and so it's always the intention to make sure that our decisions are made. Decisions like this are we have a conversation as a community so we can make the best decision for the community. And you know, what we've been building with JFH is something where it's like, well, hey, you know, there's no ticket price to JFH or anything like that. The intention is to just add value. So like I have to think about, as a person who really doesn't buy a lot of stuff, I don't really buy things. Like one of the few things I get are action figures. Like I'll pick up, I just got my son a Gunslinger Spawn because he won his first martial arts tournament like a month ago. And so like, I'm like, man, I want that toy. He wants that toy. We should bring that toy home. So, you know, I always think about having an action figure of our characters, of what we're doing with JFH. So this has been like honestly a long time dream. So I feel like there's a lot of value in us not only being able to have those figures, but again, for every person to be able to say, hey, you know what, to your friends and family, like, hey, if you want this action figure of me, you can order it now, and then everybody gets paid off of like you selling an action figure for your character. In other words, you make money off of a character you created, and more content you create on JFH. So like this is kind of the vision here, is that the more people love your stories and your characters, the more they want to have your merchandise, and we can build out an ecosystem where every person who's you know building a character has their own like merchandising engine. Like that's crazy to me. Like you know, like so, and I think we're like, you know, these T-shirts are a small step forward, but it's a step nonetheless. So yeah, next step are these live representations of ourselves as action figures. So it's gonna be great. So is there anything that anyone any ideas that spin off of this, of something that you'd like to see in that process, like maybe to build on what Guru said about plainclothes hero versus somebody with a more developed developed character style, or more detailed, or more dense. You know, again, I'm a plainclothes hero, but then there's folks like Creator and Blunt Force Trauma who have just completely decked out outfits. So is there any ideas, anything else that anyone wants to share or bring up that we should be thinking about while we're making these this decision to like move forward on action figures as a community?
Hello, can you guys hear me? Sorry, I took a quick break. Hi guys. Quick question. You know how like when they have like teams and stuff, like the Power Rangers, Avengers, or whatever, or like the Teen Titans, they all have like symbols. What if we use like the patches of like our uniform symbol? We each put one on our like, let's say, jacket or shirt, like in like the left side, so they know like we're all like, even though we're from different states or whatever, we're still one team. Like that'd be like a focal point.
So creator, I think that ties directly into the badges you made for everybody. Like, if you want to list down the badges that you made, because I scanned them quickly, but of course, being someone who's only ever lived in Los Angeles or New York first, like I really saw the Cali and I really saw the New York. So are there how many badges did you make?
I did 4, but I just need people to send me their states, and I can just do it that way. Like, where does everyone live? It'll be easier.
Dude, that's crazy. Just go rep your city. So from what I understand, once we're scanned, we can put different designs on our figures too. So if you wanted a JFH East Coast or New York badge on your figure, like I would like that as a arm. I mean, I personally would like that as a piece of clothing, like an armband or something that I could just kind of have on at all times. I think that's really dope. But we could. I'm pretty sure we should be able to scan that, and these figures are essentially like scanned dynamically and then dynamically 3D. So I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to add graphics like that to commemorate commemorate the city that your heroes from. So I think that's great. What else? Yeah, this is gonna be really interesting, guys, because like this is like I'm right now in the midst of like just so everyone knows personally where I'm at from a promotional standpoint. Like I'm doing everything in my power to get the word out, not only about JFH but about ReelwUrld, since we're running an equity crowdfunding campaign right now, meaning that anybody can own a piece of our company and help us build and offer our technology to film studios, networks, and also to anybody else, any person that wants to make their own movie or show in a similar way and build community in a similar way that we're doing with Justice for Hire. So JFH is really meant to be the first of many worlds, potentially infinite worlds with infinite characters that are being created on our platform using our technology. So I've taken to Lyft to get me in front of people every single day, several people, and it's working. We just got our second investor from Lyft last night, 2 nights ago, and people are joining the cast. You'll see a new guy today that I actually shot a video for him because his story was so powerful. A guy named Santiago, who's a former gang member from South Central, and he was in my one of my rides, and he just told me his whole story of like getting out of the gang life and essentially becoming a hero in his own life. I'm like, dude, you should join JFH. And we shot, it was like such a powerful story that I just had to shoot a video for him today. And so I'm going to cut that tonight and put it out. Like the cast is building. If you're watching what's happening on justicefire.app, like the cast is growing. It's so cool to see all these different faces coming together. And we still, we're still in the midst of dropping the actual like official season 1. We've only dropped season 0. So like all this stuff and all this momentum built up before we even have like a first real season 1 out, to me is just like a massive testament to the power of what we're doing as a community. So good stuff happening there. But I say that and I share that with you guys. 1, to be transparent, and 2, to please to ask you guys to please share the word, spread the word of JFH, like let people know. So still waiting for the cowboy episode. So yeah, Ruben, aka Tai Chi Wonder, is in episode 1 of season 1. So that's and this, like I said, this stuff it's not as simple as me chopping it up and editing it and putting it out. We're treating this like a real show or like a real film. So there's real post-production happening from pros that are doing our sound, doing our coloring, doing our scoring. And so and for better or worse, it's been relying on my speed and my ability to cut a lot of this stuff up while doing all this other stuff, like promoting this crowdfunding campaign. So please let people know that you can join ReelwUrld, the company, on wefunder.com/ReelwUrld. That's ReelwUrld. And so anybody can invest in the company and help us build out, which will help things move a lot faster. Because right now, a lot of time is spent on essentially marketing, like going out to people. And it's great. I like, there's honestly nothing I'd rather be doing than looking people directly in the eye and telling them about all this amazing stuff that we're doing together. Because that's what's happening. It's amazing. So, but yeah, please spread the word on that. And of course, spread the word for Justice for Hire as usual. And I love you guys. You know, is there any thoughts, ideas, etc. that anybody would like to share? Since this is our this is their only meetup of the month. So I'm so happy all you guys made it too. So thoughts, ideas, any closing ideas?
With Promoting JFH, I did have a question because I did have an idea that I was going to Mystery Academy. It was depending on what audience, because I remember I was a few days ago, like you were posting like where you were promoting the flyers. I was a little bit wondering like what you were hoping of the audience, because there was an idea in my head, but I'm like, this wouldn't work if this is the audience. That's the end of my thought.
Okay, so please shoot, because I mean, like share. I'm not sure of like right now the I have thoughts on target audience, but at the end of the day, you know, we're shifting. I think JFH is so open from a genre standpoint. It's really whatever genre you want to bring to it. So I'm personally making a shift toward really focusing more on the martial arts and comic book fandom communities because of my personal background in martial arts and comic books. But that being said, like you might have a different audience, and therefore the way you would message Justice for Hire shifts a bit. So I think whatever you're going to say, I think it's going to be very relevant.
Because I'll be more specific on what I meant by one of your posts when you were going through and you ended up posting one of the things from an indie wrestling scene. I thought if you're going towards an indie wrestling audience, maybe post, like I'll use my own self, for example, posting videos like, oh, have you heard, what did you guys think of what happened on Friday Night SmackDown? Also, have you ever heard of JFH? Like towards the end, just like happening to mention it. Maybe trying to go towards more with the indie wrestling audience and those type of audiences.
I first of all, I think you're the expert on this call on indie wrestling and that audience. So I mean, my initial reaction is 100% absolutely yes, we should definitely do that. For that to be authentic, it wouldn't be able to come from me because I don't know enough about that audience and about that not even that audience. I don't know enough about indie wrestling. Period. You know, I just got a comic book on the history of pro wrestling that I'm looking forward to reading. I forgot the author's name, but met him met him at a signing, and so I still need to read that and learn more. But if you feel like you have, like, I love that. Like, hey, do you know what happened at SmackDown last night? What do you think? Oh yeah, and JFH is doing this kind of stuff. Like that to me is like awesome. I would love. I think it would benefit all of us to have a voice like that on the JFH account. So and in the community. So if you can put together content like that, I think we'd all love to see it.
Completely. I don't know. If you want comfort, I don't know much about the indie scene. It's more that when you post it, my brain's like, I know what that Rhea mostly posts in indie shows. That's like and like a couple of wrestlers I know about. So trust me, I don't know much about indie wrestling as much as I do the main three.
Well, I mean, any insights you can offer and any messaging you can offer to help us. Hey, I just saw a poster of my buddy's sister in a show called Endgame. Shout out to Morena Baccarin on Endgame. I had no idea. That's awesome. So I mean, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And I think as much as you can share, even if it's, I think content where you're, might potentially even opening it up to that audience to ask questions or just to respond to you. in certain ways is interesting, so that they could be like, hey, you know, like I have you. If you don't know much about something, you can always post questions and get more of that community to kind of respond. And I've done that a few times, and it's been, and maybe that's something for me to do personally as well for the indie wrestling side. But I would much rather that me follow on a trend started by you, Ragdoll, or any of us follow on by a trend started by you as the resident expert of indie wrestling here, or wrestling, period, pro wrestling. So thank you for that idea, and I'm happy to talk. We can chat on the side about that as well. It sounds like a really useful approach. There's all these useful approaches. I think if everyone kind of talks from their perspective of how this can work, will just grow exponentially. So any other ideas from anybody else? Thoughts, ideas? Anyone want to share?
Not
Guys?
sure about ideas. I'm not sure. You can hear me, bro?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I don't know about any more ideas besides the ideas. I got a bunch of them. You know, we all have ideas. I bet you everybody's thinking about something cool, right? I think it's amazing what you're doing. As always, is very unique. You know, it started with DC, Marvel, and then all these superheroes venture all in this comic universe, and it all represented like people's ambitions and people's like dreams, and it all represented something, right? But it represented the people's ability or potentiality, right? And now we got this guy named Jan who's coming through, who's involving the community to such a standard where we could be the hero, right, in our own lives, or we could be the hero and present that to the community. And like you said in that video, like, you know, I want to be in Hollywood. Like, why not, right? So I think that's pretty amazing. And that's, you know, you asked for my thought. That's what I'm thinking. As far as like anything else, like content wise and all this stuff, like there's a bunch of things I can go over with you. But yeah, man, I mean, this is an excellent group. You know, this community is awesome, man. I guess it just comes down to more involvement, more urge for it, more ambition. And, you know, because this is the foundation. You're putting in a lot of work. Everybody else here is putting in a lot of work. You know, now it's just coming together and grow like a tree. You know, you got to have a strong trunk, like in Tai Chi. If you don't have a strong root, bro, you're going to get unrooted. So I think building that strong root, like you said, would definitely help the tree flourish, right? The community, right? And what you're representing, right? So that's pretty awesome. So that's my thoughts. You know, a little something in the bucket.
Thank you for those kind words and inspiring words, brother. So Tai Chi Wonder and everybody, David, aka Creator, just shared in the chat that if anybody wants something made, he can make it for them. So I mean, obviously he's not only proficient in developing his own armor, which he's done, his own gear for his character, but he's also been sending some graphics over that are like really top notch, actually. So I'm like, you know, he's just offered himself as a resource. Everybody reach out to Creator, aka David, on here, aka at that tall cosplayer, or Creator at Creator_JFH on Instagram. So, David, feel free to share whatever handle if I missed the handle that you want me to share there. But thank you, Tai Chi Wonder. That's a really really beautiful words. Let's also talk offline on moving the dial here. And you know, this is like JFH should be the next WWE. Like that's really like this should be the cinematic WWE when it comes to the amount of diversity of storyline and interconnectedness and a new level of audience involvement, because we're all the audience, you know. So I think that this is you know, and this is not a new idea. We've shared this before, but just I think we're closer to that goal. And you know, to a certain extent, not that I don't want to be materialistic here, but having an action figure of ourselves, like if I had all you guys on my shelf, like that would really change my day. You know, like in costume, I'd be like, oh man, this is awesome. So I, you know, and even if I just had my own action figure of myself on my desk, or anybody else did, I think that is a reminder of something very, very special inside of us, that of us modeling ourselves after an ideal self. And that's really, I think, a big part of what we're doing here. So I'm just grateful for each and every one of you guys, because it's a reminder every time we do one of these things. And I'm like, I'm not sure if anyone's going to show up. I don't know. You know? Like when I see your faces and I hear that all this feedback, it is a reminder to keep pushing the way that we're pushing. And you know, I'm just so grateful to each and every one of you, because you're all contributing, have contributed so much, and you're continuing to help this grow on a daily basis. So I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I'm super grateful. And if there's no other topics anyone want to cover, this is going to be potentially the shortest meetup we've ever had, shortest hero meetup, as I stand outside of a potential source for black sesame seeds, ground roasted black sesame seeds, not the regular ones. So I love you guys, and anybody who's watching on YouTube after the fact, justiceforhire.app is where you join the cinematic universe. That's where the show is being produced in the app. It's happening right now. So anything you post on our social network is part of the story. We then, as a production company, pull that content and cut together dynamic episodes, and that's what's happening several days a week. So join the community, team up with folks, ally or rival heroes, and or be a villain or be a client that hires heroes and villains. So that's on justiceforhire.app. And you can invest in our company, our startup company, film technology company, making movies with the world, making shows with the world, obviously ReelwUrld, from wefunder.com. That's wefunder.com/ReelwUrld, ReelwUrld. Join us. We have a early bird discount, 30% early bird discount on investors who come in for the first 150K. So we're raising $1,070,000 on there to build out this ecosystem, to hire new team members, and to just really change the game when it comes to film and TV and audience participation, and making everybody a creator, because we have obviously a community full of amazing creators. So great things in the works every day. Love you guys so much. Thank you all so much. And I'll reach out to each one of you guys separately as well, so we can coordinate on making these events as big as they should be. And of course, remember, we have our Warner Media event, which is still going on now. So we're going to be putting out more content around that. When I say that event, it's going to culminate in us in Times Square, either the last week of October or the first week of November. So that's it's actually the biggest event that we've ever done ever. It's actually huge. So we're going to have a theater full of JFH heroes in Times Square, with a whole bunch of like film executives and more, and like action icons. And they're going to be judging the stuff that we're making. So it's going to be huge. So definitely make sure to look at the Urban Action Showcase, urbanactionshowcase.com/JFH. You can also find that in the JFH app, and remake a scene from one of your favorite films that's listed in your own way with your own JFH character. So that's going on right now, and we'll be doing more promo around that. And Comic-Con is happening in July as well in San Diego. So that's the biggest comic event in the world of its kind, and we will also be there. So we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks, because that is the official date will be announced soon. But we will be there. So lots of amazing stuff happening with JFH this year. And like your dragon said, I'll be there. All right, guys, I love you so much, and I'll talk to you guys soon. So good to see you. Oh man, I can't believe I've seen Frank on here. This is amazing. I love you guys. Look, Frank and Brian's face next to each other. This is crazy. So, love you guys so much. Cheers, guys.
Seeing everybody. Good night.